Hey everybody, how's
Hello.
everybody doing? Welcome
Very good.
to CityLoveSpeaks, episode 12. I'm your boy Dre. And I'm going to introduce you to our phenomenal cast tonight. So, the amazing Tabitha is filling in for Katara tonight. We
Woo.
have Damian Michael Williams, that you guys are getting used to seeing on that, is filling in for Jeff Sodash tonight. And our new favorite little brother, Stephen Moscos, is with
Thanks.
us. And of course, the amazing, the phenomenal journalist, published, uh, show veteran of his own show and highlight of City Love Speaks, Darius Mooring, is with us again tonight.
What's going on, everybody?
Woo! Everybody's doing good? Great.
Yes.
Good.
Well,
Wow.
so we're going to kick off the show a little somber. So Chi Devane, star of RuPaul's Drag Race. I got to meet her at DragCon. Fucking amazing. Like, beyond talented, so sweet, pure at heart. Everything that everyone has been saying about her has been ultimately true. What you saw on RuPaul's Drag Race is who she was. Like, it wasn't a facade, which was kind of fantastic. In the realness and representing Black queens, in representation of its best, being from a small town, and just kind of showing how she's just like everybody else. Eating cornbread and black eyed peas was her favorite. I thought it was kind of amazing. She died at age 34. So we wanted to say farewell to Miss Chi Devane. You will be missed. You have touched all our lives. And disappointing news, Jacob Blake on yesterday was shot 7 times in front of his 3 small children getting into his car by Wisconsin police. Protests have been going on. They have destroyed parts of the city. Today at 3:20, Jacob's parents spoke to the press, and his mother asked for prayers. She also stated that with the violence and the looting that had been going on, the destruction that was going on in Wisconsin, that Jacob would be really not pleased with it, and she wanted it to stop and come together, and she wanted people to really just come together in prayer. And then she went on a tangent a bit, which I kind of expected, when she talks about all of us being human and in one. And she was able to say, she was like, I have beautiful black skin. And she was like, and so when you look at the underside of your hand, your skin is beautiful too. But we are all the same, meaning that we're all human. And how dare we think that we're better than each other based upon our race? And she stated she was talking to not just white people, that she was talking to all colors, Black, white, Chinese, Japanese, red, yellow, and brown, to quote her exactly. I was surprised, I'm going to say, that she that she spoke so soon. These are the times I can honestly say I miss Al Sharpton. Reverend Al Sharpton knows how to handle these situations when it comes to the press with these families so seamlessly, in the manner where I was even surprised that the parents spoke now, that there just wasn't an eloquent representative of the family to speak for the family, because it's a lot. It's her only son. It's for the father, was his only son. And having to stand with their grandchildren in front of a makeshift press, and not be prepared. I felt bad for them, because they weren't prepared.
Yeah.
Tabitha, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, as a mother, I feel like the support system wasn't there to allow her to speak the way she needed to. And I feel like if she would have had that kind of support system, like you're saying with Al Sharpton, she would have been able to articulate her feelings in the moment. But honestly, I think she should have been focused on her family and having a representative there to speak for her. Because I know when you are in a moment of trauma as a mother, you are not thinking clearly. You
True.
are not focused, and being put in front of an audience when you're not used to being in front of an audience is often a difficult thing to do. So your thoughts are not aligned. You're kind of pulling from different sources. And I think I know what she was trying to say,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it was clearly stated because she's hurting and she doesn't know how to deal, and she probably left that pedestal and went right back into the hospital to be with her child.
Mm.
And no mother wants to have to speak for their family in the middle of trauma like that. So my heart goes out to her. I just wish she had more of a support system, and I'm hoping that more people will step up to be there for her as this process continues, to see her through when he is recovering, to see her through what's going to happen in that area with the police and so on. So hopefully those people will step up and stand and support her in the way that she needs.
So right now, Jacob Blake is still hospitalized under critical condition. He is partially paralyzed. And so we're still waiting on updates as we go. The more updates that we have here at City Love Speaks, we will be giving you. You can always check the updates on IG, YouTube Live, and on our Facebook page at City Love Speaks. I think more than any time ever, we need a mental health check-in, Darius. This is, I think we need it more than ever today.
I know.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot this week. A lot.
I know it has been a lot this week, and I had gotten to a point earlier today where I had become really overwhelmed, and I went and got my hair cut, right? Because we talked yesterday about yesterday about self-care versus self-maintenance. So I went and got my hair cut because usually it makes me feel better just to get my hair cut, and it did. But because of how my mania works, it intensifies emotions. So like getting a haircut then became this huge, gorgeous thing. And I mean, I'm driving around with my windows down and it feels great. And then I have a conversation with my brother. He kind of goes in depth about Jacob Blake and tells, because I didn't watch the video and I'm not going to, but tells me the entire story. And I said, I am Jacob Blake.
Yeah.
Like that's me. Because I also would have walked away too. Like, I just know, because when I'm in a state and my anxiety is high, I cannot hear people talking to me. I cannot process things around me. So when I was getting my haircut, the barber was, kind of just commenting about, kind of repeating some of the rhetoric about, how we need to act when we're with the police. Like, although he had every right to stay, he was like, I would have just stayed. And I'm saying, you know what? Had he stayed, he would be dead. Had he left, he would be dead. The point is, we've done all that. We stayed at home, got shot. While we're sleeping, we get shot. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way to justify anything or rationalize anything. And one of the things that he said, and I thought it was cute, he was like, if you're a pedestrian and just because you're in the right doesn't mean that you always should go that way. It's like, if you get to an intersection, you have the right of way, but you're still going to stop and let a car go by. I was like, yeah, but if you're being chased by a dog, you're not going to look and see if there's cars coming.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. When you're in this heightened state, your mind changes. Mm-hmm. And it set with me, and it really kind of took me to another place. So that's my mental health check-in. Steven, how you doing? We're just going to go around Steven, then Damien, then we're going to come bring him back. What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's been a hard week. This has been, we're going to be talking about a number of the political things. It's also it's also, I mean, I don't, disheartening, I feel like is a small word to say, but do people follow like Ben Crump on Twitter or anything? He,
Yes.
following him, I mean, it can, I mean, to call it like overwhelming, to call it leading to burnout, to call it just like a reality check in terms of the constant state of severity. I mean, it's awful. For me to say it's awful, I feel like pales in comparison to experiencing the awfulness, obviously. But
I feel you, man. I feel
it
you.
used to be a terrible time.
What's going on with you, Damien?
As for me, this week is my point has been to look over my clouds. Sometimes you have to come up for air sometimes. Even though, yes, you have to go through the process. Yes, you have to hit all your bullet points, but sometimes you just have to just raise your head up a little bit and breathe. And that's one of my models for life is just breathe. So doing that while still, staying the course, sticking to my writing, but doing my best to keep my head clear.
Right.
Because that's one of the heaviest places where I could just become defeated for a while. So that's been my aim this week. So, yeah.
Awesome. Tabitha, what's going on with you?
It's the first week of school. That should be all I have to say.
Right. Oh my God, do you need a hug? Everybody hug Tabitha. Oh my God.
Air hug. It's interesting because I am very fortunate to be teaching something that my students love. It's not a subject that they feel burdened by. They come to me for excitement and joy and a little bit of freedom and creativity. But at the same time, it's been difficult for me to produce that for them because I'm not happy or joyous or creative right now. So it's been interesting trying to find new sources of inspiration so that I can inspire them and really feeding off of their energy. I have 3 classes and one group is just their energy level. I wish I could bottle it and sell it because it's just, you can feel it. And so I feed off of that energy. And that's the one thing I do appreciate about being back. But at the same time, there's a lot going on. And a lot of people have opinions about what teachers should and should not be doing and how we should be teaching. All of a sudden, everybody is an educational expert. And I had to block that out because I needed to just be able to do my job and do it safely for myself and to prepare my students for what they need. So that's where I was. And then our dean quit the day that school started. And he's he's a queer man of color. And he's been like a big mentor for me once I came to the school. And it was devastating because I still don't know what happened. I mean, he basically sent an email and said, tomorrow's my last day. And that was it. And hasn't had contact with anybody. So I'm worried about what that means. And I want to be able to support him, but I also want to give him the space that he needs.
Right.
And then, and finally, just looking at yet another police shooting, my youngest son looks almost exactly like Trayvon Martin. So I am triggered every single time because I worry about my boys. And they're adults, they're 23 and 25, and they're great humans and they're doing great things. But I worry in a way that I can't explain to people, even when there's not a police shooting, about my boys. And it just brings up so many things for me that I can't even go into. But having conversations with them on a regular basis is what kind of keeps me sane. So they're good, they're happy, they're healthy, they're safe. But it's hard when you have Black boys out there in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. We're gonna kick back over to Dre. How you doing, man? And just go ahead and take us on through. What's going on?
It's been a whole situation. Like I can say, like a whole situation. it's funny, like the weekend, Darius and I spent the weekend together, collaborating, and like I got um re-inspired to do things that I have not done in a really long time. So like over the weekend I wrote 4 songs. I haven't done that in years. I kid you not, like literally in years. And it was just like, and they just kind of just flowed out. And it was like, and it was just this whole creative energy all weekend. Then it turned into family drama that I was so not prepared for. And I am, well, people that know me know that I'm pretty stoic. Like I'm very like
Not excitable.
I'm not very excitable. I mean, that's not true. I wouldn't say I'm not excitable. I get excited about great things, but I'm not one to like. I'm not a haste person. Like I don't just jump in and just go bucking crazy. And it was interesting for me to not be able to go into like. I mean, Darius to see a side of me that you literally have grown in a house with me to see. Like he saw a side of me that even both of my best friends, they know it exists, but they've never actually seen it. They heard stories from my other siblings. Katana's seen it, like, but it's not.
We were almost on a flight.
It ain't pretty. We like I was mad walking around looking for flights. That's how angry I was. And I'm like, cause it's like I'm gonna need you to pack because we finna be out. Like it was like. It was a whole situation. So it was this roller coaster of emotions for me. So it was really, really super crazy. Then COVID.
Right?
Oh my God. So there are now 5 new cities that have been added to the travel ban list. After 6 have been taken off. I can't say that. Do your part. Wear a mask. It's not this difficult, people. It's really not this difficult. And now I'm disappointed because when we started the show, just really out of jokes, we did this whole thing where we acknowledged a Karen that decided she was going to go off about not wearing a mask. And now we have whole black families fighting on flights. For not.
That I noticed that all the protests that I saw that were going on, people had on masks.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And no matter if people had on masks. And so I'm like, okay, we ain't gonna be like them.
We ain't showing out.
Right.
And I don't watch the videos, but then when I hear folk black folk getting off flight because they fighting because someone, I'm like, why are we not? What's going on?
Well, Damien, remember, like Damien called me about Bill Bellamy. Bill Bellamy went like full 20-minute rant.
Oh, D, what was that about?
Yeah. That rant, it was so on point and so needed because he started off, he said, you know, he's a comedian, so he's going to give you that. But he was very truthful. He said that I missed the memo or the email. He said, because I'm out here at the basketball court. He said, they're filing like crazy. He said, touching all of that, sweating. He said, stanking. You know, he said, but none of them have a mask on. You know, and he said, what is this? He said, still people are dying right now. And he said, we're just out here just like, you know, nothing ever happened in a whole nutshell. Right. And he just, as only Bill Bellamy can do, took it on. But that was the main, you know, points and bullet points about it. It's like, okay, this is not scheduled as usual.
Right.
We still have to protect ourselves and our fellow man. What are you doing? You know,
I was walking the other day.
Sad, but crazy, but true.
Fucking. I was walking the other day. They had
I love you, Stephen. Oh my God, I love you so much. I love
did that
you so
come
much.
through? Did that? Oh,
And this is why I love you, Stephen, because when I tell you, you are the Caucasian Darius down. Darius will think it, and you will say it. Then you will think it, then Darius will say it. I noticed that the last show, and I'm like, are they like like they got a telepath relationship? Because it's hilarious. Oh my God, I love you for that moment right there. Like,
I went to a
God.
walk the other day, and there were people playing rugby in the park. I mean, at least there's a world in which, like, at least there's a world in which we can pretend basketball is non-contact, but like maybe tennis, but rugby, football, things like that. Football is in other pro sports are coming back. Football's not coming back. Rugby is just football with less protective equipment. Like this is,
Yeah.
no masks. I don't.
True.
Yeah.
Keep checking. I didn't miss any memos. I don't know. Like
None.
yeah.
None.
None.
So I also do like events and things. Hosted an engagement party. They were supposed to be 50, right? Because that's the legal limit, right? How many showed up?
Well,
88.
not in New York. Now it's 25.
Where do you think? Where do you think? I didn't go out. I didn't go out. Queens.
Right.
Queens.
25.
Right there.
New York City is 25 now. It's 25 people. No more than 25.
10. San Francisco is 10.
It's still, well, Vegas is still 10. Like, we just got up to 25 in New York. Just got there. And that is just because of the outside dining.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
We're here in California where nobody seems to have any act right. All of that is just being like, yeah.
That's so sad. Well, let's take things up to an upbeat. So we're going to take it to so all this month, we have been celebrating women of color in excellence. And our woman this week is the phenomenal J-Lo. Tabitha, you want to take it?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, I love J-Lo. I love her hustle. I love the fact that she has emerged and evolved, and we've seen it before our eyes, and she's not afraid to admit the stumbles and the falls that she's made. So that's the first thing. But she used her Instagram platform the other day to promote a movie, a short film called Draw With Me. And it's about her nibbling. And for those of you that don't know, nibbling is a term that you use for the either trans or non-binary son or daughter of a sibling. So it's her, not a niece or nephew, it's a nibbling. And it's an amazing film. I was able to see a couple different clips, but basically it's a short film about a transgender youth named Brendan and their story. And it's about the journey of coming out and using art as their platform to deal with their experience. And it's about the journey. And it's really well done. It's a caring, thoughtful piece because it allows you to see the highs and lows of it all. And Brendan's journey and using art is just, I think it was done really beautifully because it really allowed you to see Brendan for who they are. And there's not all these extra juxtapositions. I mean, it's an independent film. And, you know, she said it in her Instagram post that it's a family affair. So I just thought it was just a beautiful rendition of a presentation of just one story. And there's so many like that. I've witnessed them myself.
Sure, I was really excited about it, especially because oftentimes they had this conversation yesterday on Darius's show about people of color have different verbiage and language than a Caucasian family or a Ukrainian family or a Japanese family. Like everybody's family has a very different language. So I was really glad to see something that spoke to Black and brown people in correct dialogue and how to have these conversations about non-binary, because it's so confusing when a child wants to be referred to as them and they. And so, like earlier, I was talking to my sister and we had this real hilarious laugh because when we were little, we got in trouble for using those pronouns because it would be, so we was with them. Well, who is them? And so they going down the street, so we going down the street. Who is they? Like, we used to get in so much trouble for using the them and they, and now we're having to be like, well,
Drake, can I say something too? Because I think that for me, a lot of it, the them and the they, was, you know, trying to hide who you was with, because we want to know, what is it, a girl, is it a boy, and who their mama and who their daddy.
But here it is. But that's still the same thing in the sense of, is it a boy or a girl? They don't know what energies they have for that day, so they want to refer to as they or them, and so that's what can be like challenging. And then like times are like, you as a parent, like I made this joke. I was like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna survive. My children are grown. So if I have a grandchild, they want to be referred to as non-binary, as them or they. I'm like, so are they finna get an ass whooping, or them finna get a beat down? Like, is that how that works? Like, I don't know how that works.
I am done with you.
You can't say, look at here, little day. You can't say it. It doesn't work. Look at here, little them. What we not gonna do today, it doesn't work. So I'm going.
Oh my gosh.
It's a whole new learning process.
It is.
And the cultural factor, because
very much so.
I don't know how many times growing up I heard, little boy, if you don't sit yourself down. So I'm going, that's not an acceptable term now, because now you gotta ask.
Hey,
what am I calling you?
Hey,
no, sit yourself down.
Get in your room.
Right. So I was like, so yeah, it's a bit of a, but yeah, I thought it was great in that it celebrated that, and to the point where, sadly, historically, when it comes to cultural changes, we as Black folk are normally the last on the totem pole of acceptance, and we normally take our lead from Hispanic community. Like growing up part Puerto Rican, it was like most of my liberalism came from my Puerto Rican father, not from my West Indian mama. Like, so it's like, so it's really kind of great that this happened in this manner.
Yep. Well, I can say from the comments that there was over 4,000 comments on that post from JLo, and a lot of people of color were coming forward saying, thank you so much for bringing this to light and talking about this platform, because it's something that we don't talk about and we sweep under the rug. And to have more representation and to have it done with care, because we've seen it done maliciously, and we've seen it done where it's all about the horrible aspect of it instead of an emergence or a coming into who you are. So I appreciate JLo for using her platform to do that.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, talking about platforms, Damien, I'm gonna let you take this. So, the DNC ended.
All right, brace yourselves. All right. So now we're just going to start off with the DNC, the Democratic National Convention. Of course, you had Joe Biden, you had Kamala Harris, you had President Barack and Michelle Obama, you even had Bernie Sanders. Who knew? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And also, last but not least, you even had someone that even tag onto it was Chasten Buttigieg. Joe Biden basically was going around, talking about systematic racism, bringing balance back to America and healing back to the world as a whole. President Barack and Michelle Obama, First Lady Obama, was just giving facts and truth. President Obama said, well, I thought at some point that President Trump would actually do the job. He said, but apparently he's not fit for it. And Michelle said something along the same lines. And one thing she said that really kind of stood out to me, she said, becoming an American president does not change who you are, but it reveals who you are in truth. And I was like, wow, that's hard and heavy right there. That's real truth. President Bill Clinton said that Trump was nothing but a distraction, and that Joe Biden is the only one that could do the job at this point. Bernie Sanders, he said Trump is an embarrassment to the country as a whole, and that Joe Biden will see to it that minimum wage will be raised to $15 an hour, and provide affordable health care, and all of those things along those lines. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was talking about racial injustice and how it must end, and how she proudly nominated Bernie Sanders for to be the president of the United States. So, in that to me was a little curve, but we knew she was going to do that anyhow, because that's what she stands for. Of course, as we know, as hopefully he becomes President Biden, Joe Biden, she's going to go with the flow because of the Democratic Party. Other than that, there was also Kamala Harris, who, as many say, she's symbolic to see someone who looks like us, an African-American queen, to be in office, in any office of any of that level, is symbolic of something of hope for all of us, especially to our young queens coming up, so they can do that too, which that I'm all for. Going on, Chasten Buttigieg, which of course he's the husband of Pete Buttigieg. He's a teacher, and he also has a new book, a new memoir out entitled "I Have Something to Tell You." He says he's inspired by Kamala Harris, and he believes in her standards. And him being a teacher, he said she would be good for the children and for our future. Of course, he did say that Trump is a bigot and quite homophobic, which is nothing new. We knew that,
right?
So I'm like, tell us something we don't know. He also gave Kamala's husband, Doug, him off. He said he's going to be a great fit for a second gentleman, and he'll be a great support for Kamala. So after going into all of that, let's get to the real meat of today. The
RNC.
Lord.
Rush right on through that, because we know what the Democrats are, what we bring and what we're going to do, and we're for the people. Now, there were a good amount of people who spoke on the behalf of not the country or the American people, but they spoke on the behalf only of Trump, President Donald Trump. So, let's start off with Nikki Haley. As you know, she's responsible for bringing that. Yeah, let's go there. We're already here. Let's do it. Responsible for bringing down the Confederate flag, and knowing all of these things that she is responsible for and that she started, and to sit here and watch her give this speech of how the Democrats say that America is racist, is a racist country, but she stands there and says, it's not true. Huh? Okay. She also goes on to say,
I'm sorry.
I need a minute.
Yeah,
I need a minute. I'm triggered. I am triggered.
Yes, get some water. Get some wine.
But seriously, because Damien, because I'm having I'm trying to fight back this anxiety attack that's been going on all day, so I'm having trouble concentrating. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Nikki who?
Haley.
Now, what did she do?
Her name is Nikki Haley. I don't know if you know her.
No, what does she do now?
She kind of.
She used to be the ambassador. She used to be an ambassador. She's a former ambassador for the United States, and she is she is of ancestral descent as a representative of the indigenous people.
Right.
So she is a talking point for them.
There and say that. Yeah.
And she said
I know
that we have come. I'm going to quote her exactly. She said, "We have come such a very long way from the Civil War to having a black president to now having a black woman as a VP candidate on a ticket. I mean, we're a work in progress. If it was not for George Papadopoulos checking her, I mean,
Right.
full on snatching her whole wig off her head today
Good.
on GMA
Yes.
because she was sticking to her stump speech, and he was like, "I didn't ask you that, ma'am."
Yeah.
The tweets that you said, so
Damn.
the tweets that you have said about President Trump. So you agree with him now?
Right.
Ma'am, nope, I didn't ask that question. This is the question I asked. Like that was a whole interview. George was not here for play.
That
Like
President Trump helped rebuild America. That was her other statement that she, said that
that he
Donald
created
Trump
jobs and the Democrats
was
didn't.
able to rebuild America. Nope. Okay. Didn't see that, but okay. If that's all you got.
Yeah. And
So,
they drug her because they should have.
Here's where it really stunk, is when she said Joe Biden is a socialist.
Right.
I was like, oh. Okay.
Which is far from. He is far from a socialist.
Yeah.
Far from it.
I didn't get that.
But I understood. But I do understand why she said it.
Too, but it's like,
because the only way because everyone is still living 4 years ago, where Bernie was only going to support another socialist. So for Bernie to come out, that means Biden has to be the socialist. We know that that's not the case because AOC was like, I'm gonna take this little bit of this little time of my shine,
right,
and endorse Bernie Sanders, which she had to, because if she didn't, then she could not save face with her constituents. Full on, like it was all like AOC. What I love about her is she has learned how to play the game of politics well. She's learned.
Right.
She's learned.
Exactly.
She plays this game now.
So
she wasn't in the beginning.
Can I mention another name?
Can
I mention another name? Let me run this one by you. Donald Trump Jr. Let me think in a little bit. Yeah, I know.
Why?
Everybody went, oh. Like, oh, really?
I mean, I feel like Simone on CNN right now. Like, really, Damien? Really?
I know.
We have to talk about Donald Trump Jr.
Really,
Damien, really? Really? Today, in the day of our Lord, we have to talk about him? Like, really? I feel like Simone right now. Like, in the day of our Lord, God, we have to talk about him? Really? Or are we gonna talk about? Are we gonna discuss what he was on? Because he was high as hell.
Now, see, that's where I'm going. That's what. See, we here. Because see, first of all, he was high as the Georgia Pine. I mean, just glazy eyes, the whole nine. I'm like, what are you on, and what did you drink? He was said very angrily that Joe Biden is a monster. The Democrats are a threat to America. Let me see. What else did he say? The people of faith are under attack due to Joe Biden and all of his policies. Does anybody know about that?
I actually didn't know about that.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay.
I didn't know about that, but I guess it must be true.
Oh my
God. If he says it must be true.
So
it has to be.
We have to take. We're gonna take the rest of this RNC into the after show, because I got some things to get off my chest that aren't appropriate to say on our syndicated show.
Yeah. So that means I can't mention Senator Tim Scott or Vernon.
So you're trying to trigger me down. So we gonna save it just a little bit. We're gonna move on to our next segment. The Negro Please Award. And this week, consensus says it was a tie of the Negro Please Award, and the awards go to
Oh no!
Whoa!
6ix9ine and Vernon Jones
Lord.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, that fit.
6ix9ine
Mm-hmm.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
came after
Yeah.
Meg Thee Stallion. This is why I kind of Katera being here. She would go in. She would go in and let have on 6ix9ine right now, because he has been chastising her for making her assailants that shot her tell the truth about what actually happened, and he has been calling her a snitch.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's misogyny on a whole
I'm
new
like,
level,
you a
like
people?
on a whole new level of misogyny. So
Whole new
I was
level.
like, for real?
And
Then
then the support of Black
Yikes.
women, that's just not happening.
Hold
I,
on.
Yeah.
so, but then
Oh.
Vernon Jones.
Yeah, him.
Oh Jesus. So I'm watching the RNC. Vernon Jones comes out. He is a Democrat and a representative in the House of Georgia. And he decided that he was going to speak
Mm-hmm.
for all free-thinking African American people,
Wow.
and that we support Donald J. Trump.
Oh.
Wait, it gets better.
Part of the Terry Crews branch of the party.
And then,
Yes, Steven.
Cool.
and so I'm like,
that old Price County.
so I'm at the, so Vernon, who, I missed the Human Rights Commission memo that said that he was the spokesperson for the Negro American. And
That wasn't in the newsletter.
It wasn't at all. Like, and I was like, it wasn't at the Black Achievers Zoom meeting. It wasn't nowhere. I'm telling you.
No.
So I'm going. So I was like, Vernon. Then, Vernon, you, my friend, are living in the basement. The rest of us is out here walking around protesting. So I don't know what you mean that Vice President Biden has done nothing in his 47-year career. Because, sir, what have you done except embarrassed all free-thinking intellectual African Americans in this moment? These are the times where I strongly wish that Maya Angelou was still living, because you would get a phone call, sir. And she would tell you, forever be silent.
Ever.
But what I am going to say, thank you, Vernon. Thank you for opening the door for Keisha Bottoms to take your seat. Thank you. I appreciate you with everything in me, for you getting up, making a whole fool, tap dancing your whole bell jangles moment, because you was mad because they've never asked you to speak at the DNC, and they needed somebody black and pliable to speak up for Trump, just so he had some backing to go around with all of these commercials that he had with black people sprinkled in important roles, and all the villains were white Democrats. Just saying. The only black villain that he broadcasted was Auntie Maxine, and she got right with me in that, because she said what she said. So I'm like, so good luck. So those are the Negro Please Awards this week, and all I could say was, Negro, please. Steven. So Steven Moskos has his own podcast where they review movies.
Indeed.
And so Steven has brought his show to our show again, and Steven, take it away. This is your shot.
Yeah. So my podcast is called Should We Keep This? It is a Rock Rising Productions podcast, available everywhere. But what we do is we review movies that we started in 1969 And we're going to today, and we review the top grossing film of that year, as well as the Oscar winner, and evaluate whether or not they deserve their current place in the zeitgeist, or whether or not we would snap our fingers and have them whisked away, and that they would never exist anymore. Last time we did the movie Tangerine, and this time, per request, we are doing a pair of movies that we're going to cross-evaluate. We're doing 1994's Spike Lee's Crooklyn, and then 2019's Waves. Now, boom. We also, Crooklyn, they're both films that revolve around the Black family unit, one in the 70s, one in the present. And what we're going to do is we're going to go person by person, and we're going to decide, do we keep these movies? Now, you can say yes to both, no to both, or, you know, one, not the other, etc. And I'm just going to, boom, go along. Darius, what are we keeping? 3, 2, 1.
I would. Oh shoot! I would keep. Wait, I would keep them both. I would keep them both.
You keep both.
Yes.
All right. Dre, what are you doing? What are you keeping? What are you throwing away?
So I'm keeping Brooklyn, and I'm throwing away Waves.
Oof.
All right. Tabitha.
I'm going to have to agree with Dre. I'm keeping Crooklyn for positive and negative reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm discarding Waves. I think it's a narrative I just didn't need.
All right, Damien.
I have to keep the ball rolling. Crooklyn to me is a Black classic to me. In its own right. But Waves. So, yeah, that's
I'm the only one keeping Waves.
You are.
You're the only one keeping Waves. Well, Steven, are you keeping or throwing it away?
Oh, Waves. I
think you're throwing it away.
I'll hold myself in for right now, and I will say that I am keeping Crooklyn, and I am getting rid of Waves. I may need to wait till the after show to explain how vehemently I hold that opinion. Now, Darius, you got to defend Waves now. You're the
it's all on you.
Well, I'm not of defending Waves. I think that Waves, for me, brought up things that I did that it caused me to reevaluate some things within my own life, especially the relationship between the father and the dad. And I've seen for right now, like that has been the movie that has sent me in that. So whenever I come across something that causes me to think differently than the ways I had been thinking in the past, I can't erase that. Like I could say, because it has caused me to think in this way. It's a horrible movie, but it has caused me to go down that I otherwise I can't say I otherwise wouldn't have, but I will say that I feel like the universe has brought that into my life in this particular reason for that purpose.
Right.
And that is the reason I'm going to keep it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a fun concept around a show, but I believe that like the most important thing, all criticism aside, is whether or not you like it. So if you just like it, if it spoke to you, like that's enough. That's all there is, you know? So like, I definitely do. I side with you for that. Now, why, Dre, do you want to get rid of it? Now the floor is open to the rest of us.
So part of the reason I would get rid of Waves was it lacked clarity in dialogue. There wasn't a lot of dialogue. It was a lot of movement, a lot of like visual.
Yeah.
But when they did have dialogue, it was off. So being a dancer that was part of the public school program, you had to have physicals done. And you had to turn in paperwork and all these things to do this. And being a minor, even being 18, because I was in school, my parents still had to attend the doctor's appointments. They had to know what's going on. So how his parents had no idea, the coach had no idea that this was happening to him was
you
like...
don't even see a scene where he lies about it?
Well, right, and I was like, I don't quite...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that works. Then I was like, I don't know how that works. I don't know Black families that allow you to have this much freedom.
Yeah, agreed.
And I come from a pretty free household. And no.
Right.
There's no way Beverly wouldn't have known. Like, there's just no way. Like, at all. There's just no way. Like, I would have been at this doctor's appointment and signed a permission slip, and she not know nothing.
Right.
And nobody paid attention that codeine is missing in the house.
Right. We also have something that was missing for that is that if the mother died of an overdose and there's an opiate in the house, the father's taking it, like that to me, I'm like, it would be better storytelling if the father was experiencing pain that he should be taking codeine for, but he's not because his ex-wife died from a drug overdose. Like that to me would make more sense.
Yeah. And easily accessible to the kids.
Right. Like there's just a lot.
It's a lot
of things that, in my opinion, don't track throughout
the movie. A lot of questions. I mean,
so, Steven, there's no way we're going to get through that.
Got it.
Because that's a lot to unpack, and I got a lot to say too.
Let's talk about
let's go to the next segment.
I have a question. All right. Are we?
So we're going to move to the next segment? Yeah, we're going to the next segment. But what's your question?
My question was going to be, I feel like both films use or incorporate, shall I say, the Blackness of the family very differently. And to me, in waves, it only happened when it was, I guess you could say, plot relevant. That was my feeling. As opposed to it being something that permeated really the whole existence and the full characterization of everyone in Crooklyn. And I was wondering how you felt about the film, both films' dialogues with Blackness, but also how that was in conversation with the surrounding whiteness. That feels like something that could be good with this show.
Woo! Yes.
I will say it real quick.
Ow!
I have been.
That's soliloquy.
Just real quick.
Okay.
I have been in environments where I was around a Crooklyn family, and I've been in environments where I was around a Waves family.
Mm-hmm.
And both had their complexities and a narrative that I both understood and didn't understand based on my own background and raising. So I feel like in terms of depth, I identify more with the Crooklyn family just because I felt like theirs was more authentic, whereas the Waves family, I felt there was a disconnect and it was very narrow of a scope about their Blackness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Yeah, so we're going to unpack all that in the after show. We have 5 minutes left and a whole lot to cover. So, in State of America, so our little hero, Claudia Conway, has now filed for emancipation from both her parents. Kellyanne Conway has now announced that she will be stepping down from her White House duties after August. So come September 1st, she will no longer be advising the Trump administration so that her and her husband can solely focus on her children. Claudia then came back to social media saying, "Look what I did, y'all. You're welcome."
Do y'all have TikTok? Are y'all on TikTok?
No.
Oh, man.
Old. I'm too old for TikTok. Okay, but she goes in. I've seen the video.
Misconception. You are not too old. But Claudia has a huge TikTok presence going like off against her parents. It's hilarious. Highly recommend.
Wow.
So if you need a reason to get on TikTok, and it's not, pottery videos and people making cakes.
Right.
So we can keep the joy going. The other day, I came across this video that moved me to tears, and I am not a crier. Darius, why don't you take this?
So yeah. So I'm gonna scrub through some of the video because it's kind of long, and I didn't get a chance to edit it. So we're just gonna start this.
Here he comes. Here he comes. He's coming. Come. Okay, go. Okay, go. Okay. Hey, man, before you go, real quick, I got some envelopes here on the wall with some questions. If you can answer these questions right, you get to keep what's inside the envelopes. Okay. If you want to play, there's some pretty good prizes in these. All right, so just pick an envelope. Let's see what you got.
How many points is a touchdown worth in football?
Let's see. Wait, how many points is a touchdown worth of football? And how many is it worth?
It's 6. It's not 7. It's 6.
Okay, that's a trick question. Okay. Name the capital of Florida.
Tallahassee.
Wow, that was pretty good. Okay, take the top one off. Okay.
Yeah, the French.
Jeez, you're pretty good at this, man. Okay.
It's Rom. Justin Timberlake. Everyone knows Justin Timberlake.
That's one. Let's see what's in here. You got the second one?
My girlfriend's gonna kill me.
Well, you're not a big NSYNC fan or what?
I know.
Okay, I'll tell you what. You didn't win this one, but let's see what you got in here. Let's see what you got.
Okay.
Open up one at a time. Let's see what you got. First envelope, you win.
$5. That's
like a little tip for you, all right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. What else you got? I'll take the empty ones if you want. All right.
Next is that's $20.
$25, man.
25. That's more than I've ever gotten from a jeweler. It's another 5.
What, $30 so far?
$30.
Okay.
That's $1 right on.
$31.
Yes, $31.
Was that with the capital of Florida? All right, that was
Yes.
$1.
And then,
$31.
That's $50. So that's 70. What's the next one, man? 70 something dollars.
71. No, $81.
$81.
It's $82.
Hey man, I just want to. This is the difference between me paying my rent and not this week.
Really?
Yeah, man. I wasn't sure what I was going to do it.
Well, hey, look real quick, man. The 2 members of NSYNC.
And I saw what was in it. I don't know the second member of NSYNC.
Starts with J, JF, Joey. It's Joey Fatone, man. No, it's Joey Fatone. It's $100, man. Sounds like you need it more than us. So I want you to have that.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, it makes me cry every time. Like I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying not to fall. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I felt it was so needed. We spend so much time, even on this show, talking about what's going wrong, and we don't really get to celebrate what does go right. And Darius and I had this conversation where it makes it so easy when you're within your own circle because you know who to support and you know how to support that person and how that works and how that goes, and then it just becomes so second nature that you don't really check in because it's just second nature for you to do. And oftentimes we have to take that thing that we have so enclosed in our circle and spread it out to the rest of the world. And I'm hoping every day, every Tuesday, every Monday and every Tuesday, that my little bit company, Mahogany Still Productions, is actually doing that, reaching out to people, making you feel special, wanted, loved, heard, appreciated, purposeful. Is my goal all of the time. So,
So we're gonna kick it on, bro.
Yes.
You can take a breath, bro. You can take a breath, brother. It's okay. So listen,
It's all right.
voting is coming up. There's a lot of mess going on around this. So make sure that we are there. The place where you can make sure that you are registered to vote. Hold on, I think I have that on my slide here. We have information where you can go to register to vote. You can go and check your registration status because people can get kicked off. They will expire. All this stuff that you don't know about is happening. Also, you can get your absentee ballot as well, but make sure you're getting that as soon as possible, and you can actually go and drop that off. So we're still following this whole story around the post office, how it's unfolding. So definitely we are in support of everybody having all the access that they need to the information that they need in order to be empowered to vote. Amen.
Amen.
So make sure you go to vote.org, get all of the information. Currently, Senator Chuck Schumer has called an investigation in the USPS Postal Service in their policy making and who has been put in charge and how it's going to go so that we can actually have our election is not tampered with. Make sure that you get your absentee ballot now. And there are 2 ballots that you can get. So you can get an absentee ballot that you can mail in, but you can also get a ballot that you can hand in on the day of election. So that way, even if you have to stand in line, you're just handing in your ballot. You're not having to actually go into the voters booth, which will help you feel a little more safe with COVID-19 going on. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week on City Love Speaks. Join us for the after show, where we go into full depth about everything. Make sure you're tuning in to Working It Out with Darius Mooring on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and City Love Speaks every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much, Tabitha. Julia, oh my God. Thank you for coming on our show, standing in for Tara today.
Amazing.
It was well, you know how I feel about you. You know how much I love you. You know.
Did we all see the shirt?
Oh my God.
Oh.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm blackity black, y'all.
Yeah.
And I need it in the voice, right?
Celebrate the melanin.
I'm black,
Black,
y'all.
y'all.
I'm
Black, y'all. Yes. Oh, so thank you guys again for joining us and supporting City Love Speaks. We will see you again next week. And as I always say, if you don't love yourself, ain't nobody gonna love you. Go on in. Have a great night. Bye.